Ladies and gentlemen, hello, and welcome to a very special episode of Sherm in the Booth. My name is Sherm. You guys are some true Chicagoans for coming out in January. It's snowing outside, it's freezing, and you're at the fucking club at 1 a.m.
Boys with the bass, yeah, boys, bass.
Who am I talking to right now? You're famous.
Free food, free drinks, music, girls. Let's go.
Do you like it? Cool. You don't? Goodbye.
I'm missing the most important part.
Boys with the bass, yeah.
We should throw like a crazy bar mitzvah party.
This is crazy. Send me stems. I finished it.
What's up, guys? How's everyone doing?
Just wait, you know it kicks in like 3 to 5 seconds afterward.
Yo, what is good, everyone, and welcome back to another brand new episode of Sherm in the Booth. I'm, of course, your host, Sherm, and this is episode 235, and today we've got another inductee into the Sherm in the Booth Three-Timers Club. Many of you know his name, and it's for good reason. Episode 235 features DJ producer Jake Shore. It is always a blast chopping it up with Jake. Our goal every time we do content like this together is to make sure the listeners or viewers walk away with real value, advice, and of course, a big old smile on their face. Now, even though it's been 2 years since Jake was a teacher, you should still take out your pen and paper because class is in session. This episode has it all, and I'm telling you guys are going to enjoy it from beginning to the end. Thanks for coming on the podcast, Jake, and I look forward to next time. Let's jump right in. This is episode 235 with Jake Shore.
Yeah, dude. And I got gifted these the other night.
I know, I saw it.
Yeah.
They're so sick.
Insane. I'm not a big shoe guy, but like,
I'd love to see like Chicago buying back into you. You know what I mean? Like people of the city investing in Jake Shore.
yeah. Are you fucking, dude? It's crazy.
It's not easy to do because you can't go out there like I didn't go out there and like hunt the Malort partnership down. I just kind of started doing it.
Just start doing it.
And they were like, "Who the fuck is this guy?"
Yeah, it's
like,
crazy how that happens, man. And I think if you get the right people behind you as well, it's the cool kid effect, right? It's then everybody starts to want to say, "Oh, I know Jake," or "Oh, Jake's hanging with him. Oh, fuck, I better pay attention now." I mean, dude, look. Case in point, Jeremiah was at my fucking set the other night,
bro.
The Jeremiah. So if you don't know who Jeremiah, you must be living under a rock. Because
did we start?
Oh, I figured we just started. Yeah, I just figured we started. Yeah, I figured we started. I thought we were just gonna do like just roll into it.
I think we just got to roll into it at this point.
Yeah, dude. But Jeremiah at the fucking
bro, that
set,
was fucking nuts.
I tweaked. I tweaked so hard. So when somebody told me that he was there, immediately I was like, "Oh shit, that is him." And I got on the mic and I introduced him. Right, I was like, "Yo, Jeremiah's in the house, whatever."
That wasn't planned, right?
What?
Jeremiah.
No, that was not planned at all. I don't know.
Because you had don't tell him had it on your USB then, didn't you?
You got to hold.
That's
one
that
down.
real DJ.
Yeah, you got to hold one down.
Baby.
You got to hold one
DJs
down.
only.
Yeah. No, I was not prepared for that, and I was nervous. I didn't have anything, and I just typed in his first few letters, and that came up. And it's a sick remix too.
It was because there's a lot of fucking. It could have been very down tempo.
Yeah.
And chill.
No,
it could have been
was
way too hard.
I think it's a mashup from my boy. I think it's the Tucci mashup of.
Tucci, yeah.
Yeah. He's fucking got some cool shit out there. I play a lot of his stuff.
Shout out Tucci.
Yeah, shout out Tucci. It's a mashup of "Show Me Love," "Don't Tell Him" from Jeremiah, and then "Biscuits," one of his songs. I forget which one it is.
Dude,
it's the one where it's like.
It was crazy because like I had gone to the bathroom.
Yeah.
This was at like he didn't show up until like 2:15.
Yeah, it came late. Yeah,
of course.
Yeah, right.
And I come back to the bathroom like everyone's like Jeremiah's here. I'm like Jeremiah, like Jeremiah was a bullfrog.
Yeah, no,
wait,
it's Jeremiah.
It's Jeremiah.
I heard that quickly after I made the wrong announcement. I was like, Jeremiah's here, and this like guy was like, "Yo, it's Jeremiah." Sorry, Jeremiah is here, and I was like, "But dude, okay, so like I like that happened,
right?"
And then he stayed up there with me. He didn't leave, which you're not gonna tell him. I'm not gonna tell him to get off and leave. So, but it was about 3 songs in, and I actually have a video of it. They sent me a video. I turn around and I go, "What the fuck is happening right now?" And he's like, "We just having a good time, bro. Keep doing your thing." And I'm like, okay, yeah. And then I finally turned to him. I go, dude, hold on, man. I gotta, and like while I'm DJing. I'm like,
you gotta chop it up.
I'm like, dude, I don't think you understand. I'm freaking out right now. He goes,
Yeah.
why, bro? And I go, dude, I grew up, because it hit me about 3 songs in while he was standing next to me.
Totally.
All the times I was in basement parties, high school parties, college parties. Rhythm is a dancer. I need a companion. Girl, I guess that must be you. Ooh! And I was like, I looked, dude, you're the legend, bro. And he's
Straight
like,
up.
oh, dog, dude. He's like, he's just so humble. Like, and I like me, I'm out there,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
like, I was worried he wasn't catching a vibe, but at the same time, he was up
He
there
was
still.
chilling.
Dude,
He was having a good
you
time.
want to talk about Chicago on top? That was a fucking, that is why when Chicago starts to realize something's cooking,
Yep.
they will support other Chicago people. And
So true.
that he didn't come there knowing I was there, but he stayed there because I was there. And I think that's kind of been the narrative right now.
Yeah, he could have came in. He could have said, nah, fuck this shit.
This is weird. I'm out. But
taking
he
videos.
he recognized, and we
Yeah.
got the content of it. You know,
We got the proof.
we got the tent. So right, Pixar it didn't happen, Vids or it didn't happen, Reels or it didn't happen. So for that matter, man, I'm like, whoa. Going back to back with Jeremiah was not on my 2024 bingo card. But you know what? Why not us? We've said it before 1,000 times.
If not us, then who?
Then who?
I don't know.
Who does this? We does this.
We does this.
Speaking of which,
Yep.
2 days earlier,
God.
I was direct support for the man himself, fucking
James
James
fucking
fucking Hype. What a class act, by the way.
Yeah.
And, I think I'm still in the mode where I meet these people that I idolize, Jeremiah, James Hype, and I fan out. But I'm being humble when I say this. I've experienced that, and like everybody knows I love attention.
Yeah.
But that type of attention's a little weird still for me.
Yeah.
Where somebody is like kind of talking to, like at you and not to you.
Yeah.
Because they're fans of you and like so and like I know
They
how
already
that
know you.
Right. I know how that feels. So like now when I get fanned out by somebody that I try and be as respectful and not like charging as possible, but like you kind of gotta know what to say and how much to say. It's like an economy of words type things and like get to the point. Yeah. But I was talking to James and just like got off the set and then waited around, hung out for a little bit, and he got off his set and he was signing all those autographs and stuff. Such a class act, dude. And I'm just waiting there and I'm like, hey brother, I don't want to take too much of your time, but I wanted to show you something. And of course I pull out the WWE belt. He goes, what's this? And I go, dude, you're the champ. You're the GOAT.
Yeah.
I was like, I played with you before in Chicago a couple times. I know who you are. I remembered you.
Wow.
And like, so like shit like that is like, and same thing happened with his wife too, or his fiance is like, I've now played with her a couple times and I played with her before she went on at Beyond recently. And I'm backstage with her at the green room area. And I'm like, Tita, how you doing? It's Jake. Like I played with you. She's like, dude, I know who you are. We've met like 3 or 4 times.
Good accents.
Yeah, I'm trying.
You're really doing
But
good. Yeah.
and it's like humbling though, because now I don't feel like,
Totally.
okay, now I can relax and just be myself and I don't have to like, so yeah, me and James chopped it up, but it was just fucking electric. The room was fucking juiced. I stepped up to the plate and did my thing. He recognized that. And it was just it's been a hell of a weekend, man. And now I'm
brother.
capping it off with a fucking Sherm podcast.
It's so good to have you here.
We're back. The last time I was here was before North Coast. The last time I played North Coast was 2 summers ago.
That's true.
That was the last podcast we did.
You're
bro.
in the 3-timer Sherman the Booth Club, and there's like, it's you, Susan.
Where are the cameras at? Here and there?
Yeah.
What the fuck, dude?
I know. I should have jackets, but we'll do 5-timers Club.
5-time! 5-time! Yeah, I can't wait, man.
God damn.
Yeah, dude, this is, it's so, I mean, dude, me and you can talk for hours.
Yeah.
So doing this on camera, it's like, and our thing is always providing value.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope that in some way, shape, or form by the end of this, and that's what I got so much from the last podcast we did, and honestly, a lot of podcasts that I do is people are messaging me or they comment, like they watch them and they say how much value they've got on them, and I think that's so important. You are all about community. I try about be as much as I can about community and try and give away. I don't like to gatekeep anything,
right?
You know, as far as like, how did I get to where I'm at right now, or what am I trying? And dude, I'm also the first to I don't know everything either.
Totally.
I'm still learning as I go. So, you know, anybody watching this, like I do, like we're going to obviously eventually give some tidbits out here. We're going to give some juice away. And, you know, that's I was thinking about it the other day, you know, with this whole Chicago on Top movement. It's a lot bigger than just it being my hometown. I really think all the crazy shit that's going on in this world, my philosophy is if you can fix Chicago, you can fix the world. You know, because Chicago's a micro, just like a lot of other cities, but Chicago is like a microcosm of kind of like what the world is right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
From all its different aspects, it's good things and bad things. And you know, for example, I was asked to join the Chicago Run collective.
Yeah, met that crew.
Yeah,
they're awesome.
Shout out Jordan and shout out Chucky and all them over there. You know, for having me on, and it kind of came about where it was like one of those things where they just recognized kind of what I was doing, and we wanted to figure out how could we collab. And you know, up front, they didn't really understand how they were going to mix like the whole DJing aspect into it, because it's a run club. It's about health and community and fitness. Of course. But, you know, me being the wizard that I am, I was like, you don't have to promote any of that. Watch this. So we did a fun little video where I'm like, I'm gassing out and I'm like, I can't run anymore. And then the guy that's holding the phone is like, he's recording. He's like, remember when they said you were just a TikTok DJ? And I take off. And then the next one is me gassed out again. Remember when they said you'd never be a headliner? I start screaming and just sprinting. I threw out my back. But either way. But dude, when I was there at the Run Club, 8 a.m. in the morning, the day of my show, just a couple days ago.
Yeah,
okay?
you were out there.
I was out there.
Love it.
What I looked around and noticed was a bunch of young individuals from all different races, religions, backgrounds, creeds, walks of life that weren't really there to run. They were there to meet other people, creators. And when I looked around, I was like, this is what Chicago is about.
Totally.
This is what this place is actually like.
Yep.
Because something I saw, I mean, I did the car accident video
which was great.
2.9 million people damn near saw, which is insane.
Yeah.
On a promo.
You were just trying to promote a goddamn show.
Hey, I cut promos, baby. I watched 25 years of WWE. So.
Yeah, that's true.
But one thing I saw in the comment section, you know, you get that many views, you're going to get people that are just saying wild shit.
Yeah.
One thing I kept seeing was, oh, of course he's dying, or of course he's dead, he's in Chicago, or of course that happens in Chicago. And like, I delete those comments.
Do you?
I try to. You know, after a while I can't keep up. Because to me, I don't want that shit on my there's always going to be haters and stuff, and I don't want that on my post when it comes to Chicago. I don't want that. Every city's got its problems, and unfortunately, you know, we have that narrative there is some hellacious ass places in Chicago that I don't go.
Absolutely.
And you just don't go. And
sure.
Unfortunately, there needs to be more done in those areas to build them up. And
are you running for mayor? Are you about to announce that right now?
Dude, you know, I don't even mean to get political, but I think it comes from a place where I think all politicians start from a place where they give a fuck.
Yeah,
and they care about their city, and they care about this nation.
Yeah.
And you know, so I don't want to. I know maybe I sound like a politician. I realize I care about my city and every city for that matter, but I care about where I'm from. I think that's what it comes down to. I think everybody should be prideful about where they come from.
Yep. And
I think that's been lost lately, especially in the music game. You know, something that what struck me was I was on a plane traveling somewhere, and I was watching Straight Outta Compton, which is like the the story of the Straight Out of NWA, and it was Ice Cube was Ice Cube was replayed by his son. It's a great movie.
Great movie.
One thing I noticed, though, after watching that movie was no matter how big those guys got and how far they went, they always rocked Raider gear. They always rocked Raider LA gear. Everywhere they went, they never stopped.
Yep.
And it was like a sense of, it was like kind of like, don't forget where you come from. Mm-hmm. I think for me, you know, if you've noticed, a lot of my content has been Chicago based. Or it's you know, I'm wearing something from Chicago, or like, and, you know, you might have people, oh, he lives in Miami right now. Yeah, I lived in Boston last year, and I live in Miami now. And I think you should get out, and you should figure, you know, you should go live and experience different things. But what it's given me is the perspective and the understanding of just how dope this place really is.
Yeah,
and I don't know if I would have really gotten that if I stayed here, because you get used to the place you've been in for all your life.
Distance makes the heart grow fonder.
Exactly.
Brother. Doesn't have to be with a person.
Exactly. And I've
Be a
had great
place.
experiences in Boston. I had great experience
Of course.
in Miami
That's
so
not
far.
home, though.
But what it's really done is made me realize how special this place is. And it also helps that it is the birthplace of house music.
Yeah.
And everything that I need is here. So I think the plan is to come back,
Okay.
you know, but it might be, I got to live out there in Miami until the lease is up. So I still got a little while.
Okay.
But I think what it comes back to is just being, the message I'm trying to give out is it's not about necessarily Chicago. I think for each and every person, don't forget where you came from, because I've realized so much that where I come from has helped me so much in my career and in my life and all different walks of life, and just being raised here amongst the people that I've been raised has allowed me to honestly sit in so many different rooms across the world and be able to jive with people so easily. You know what I mean? Same with you. Like, I notice you do a lot, when the Pacers are killing it, you're fucking going hard with it, and you're sticking true to where you grew up and how you came up. And I think it's just so important to do that. And I feel like a lot of musicians don't do that anymore. It's weird. They don't rep where they come from.
DJs.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe DJs just don't do it
I
enough.
feel like sometimes, I liked what you said about in Chicago, sort of getting outside of the scene that we're in, that we love so much. I hadn't stepped out to Prysm or a club for, not how do I say this, for not a selfish reason.
Yeah, with a show of your own or whatever.
Or a show of my own, or to further my career, and not just go out and have fun.
Yeah.
And first off, it was just so fun watching you.
I appreciate you being
It was
here,
really
bro.
cool. It was really cool.
I don't think you realize how much it means to me that you would.
Here's the
And
thing.
vice versa. I would do the same for you.
I
hope you
do
that.
know how much it means, though, is the thing.
Yeah.
And that's what some of the Hood Poly boys have taught me, and our boys in Chicago.
Yeah.
When I'm there and I'm DJing and I turn around and I see my boys going fucking hype, it makes it so much more fulfilling to me, right?
It also puts me at ease.
Absolutely.
I feel like if
You're like, okay, it sounds good? We're good?
Nothing can go wrong. Yeah, and I did. I turned around at one point. I was like, we're in the pocket now.
Yeah.
Now,
That was sick.
now it's go time.
That was
I got
sick.
through past the first couple songs,
Right.
which are always how do I set up the room?
Of course.
And then once I got into the groovy house shit, I'm like, we're in the pocket now, baby.
It was awesome.
Definitely.
But what was really cool for me was just to step out in Chicago, like I used to as a fan, and it's not that I don't want to do that anymore. I'm older, I'm married, I have commitments, I travel, I want to live my life. But I've started.
Still frat though.
I'm still very frat. Yeah, these past 2 months when I stopped touring, because this was the first year that I've never played in Chicago for 6 months.
Yeah.
Or I went on a tour and Chicago wasn't on one of the
Sure
stops.
is different, yeah.
That was fucking crazy, right? And it gave me a lot of perspective about this city from outside the music, which is I fell in love with the city because of the great club culture and music, but I also fell in love with it because of the food, because of the people. The things outside of dance music has it's invigorated. When you get stressed about when we used to do this, I gotta get 20 people there, bro.
Yeah.
How can I get 20 people? I need to invite all my friends. Guess what? Your friends aren't always your fans.
Right.
Sometimes your friends don't want to be your fans.
Especially if you're doing it every weekend in the same place. It's why do I got to come this weekend when I can?
We learn these lessons hard. So I started putting myself in their shoes, and I realized that their shoes are actually my shoes because I came from the same place as them, right? Yeah. And all we can do is just try and live our life to the fullest, and that doesn't always have to have music at the epicenter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Trust
And
me, I think
you and I talk about that all the time.
Yeah.
You're sometimes when we talk, we don't talk about music at all.
No, I call you because I'm having a panic attack. And I think, again, this is important. Yeah. Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
The reality of it is people see my highlight reel.
Yeah.
But I do think I try and be a little vulnerable too, in certain times. And I think that's what makes me on social media. And I think there's times when I call you and I'll call DJ Susan. Sorry, I said that weird. I'll call DJ Susan.
Because you always call him Sue, yeah.
Yeah, and because while I have friends I can talk to, and I have my parents I can talk to, and Kimberly I can talk to, you guys also understand what I'm going through on a professional, but on a personal level too.
Yep.
And I think, for me, being honest about the fact that it's not all roses and sunshine, and I'm still learning about things as I go. There's no blueprint or there's no teacher's manual or manual on how to do these things. You kind of just learn as you go. But I've realized in the past year, with all the traveling I've done, success that I've had, etc., what's becoming further and further away is my sense of normalcy. And just, my sense of normalcy and just having that personal life balance to lean back on.
Yep.
And it really hit me when I moved to Miami.
Yeah.
Because at least in Boston, I had a lot more FaceTime with the people at Big Night because I kind of like worked through that company a little bit still.
Yeah.
And I was, it was work, but it was like more FaceTime work. And I was actually in the building and like,
routine.
it was just a little, it was more of a routine, etc. But in Miami, me and Kimberly have definitely like isolated ourselves a little bit out there. And really all I do is work.
Yeah.
And I definitely need to put myself out there a little bit more, but to try and start a whole new personal life in a new city, I don't even have time for that right now.
Yeah.
So that's another reason where it's like Chicago, to me, it already has my whole personal life baked in.
Yeah.
If I want to go to my parents' house and just have a Sunday and not talk, those people don't care about Jake Shore.
Exactly what I'm saying,
They
bro.
care about Jake Polachuk. I'm putting my government name out there.
Well, your dad told me it's Polachuk.
Well, yeah, I'm sure that's like how you say it, the European way of saying it.
Of course.
Shit, when people see that ZCZ, man,
They
like,
get
what the
real
fuck's
fucking
going on?
confused.
Yeah, so that's the part for me that I've realized I need to focus on. I need to tend and water the Jake Polachuk side of things and remember that at the end of this fucking thing, that's who's going to be left.
Yep.
Not Jake Shore.
Right.
When I'm dead and gone,
Yeah.
that's who's gonna be in the ground, not Jake Shore. So I you know, at some point I can't let life pass me by because I spend so much of my time and energy on what I'm doing with my career and what but I've realized, and we've talked about the stopping and smelling the roses, but that still's career oriented. I'm talking about getting away, deep, like unplugging, and watering that part of your life that is going to be there after your career is gone and that was there before your career started.
Yes.
And I think that's so important. I know you have so many friends that you've grown up with that you're still in contact with. I have so many friends that I've known since I was 5 years old. Hell, I'm about to go on a bachelor party with them in the Ozarks this weekend. And it's like 25 dudes. You met Schmitty.
Yeah, legend.
Dude, legend, right? And I was telling him, we didn't even talk about the show the other day. I was like, dude, I'm just so fucking excited to go hang out with the boys and unplug and not... Because they don't care. They care. They want to. They want to support.
Yeah.
And they did. A couple of them came out. Smitty came out the other night and stuff. But like, they knew me before all that shit, and that's the person that they fell in love with, and that's who I want to be able to give. And I think it. And what I realize is that doing that actually makes me the Jake Shore that I am.
Yes.
You know, I came home a couple times this past month because I was homesick as shit.
Yeah.
And sure enough. If you look at my social media and the music I've been making right now, which we'll get into in a little bit, I'm firing again.
You are.
Because I got that personal life balance tapped. Whatever I needed, I got. You know what I mean? So for anybody out there who's chasing something, this goes to anybody. This isn't just DJing. This is anybody and everybody who's trying to chase that career, who's trying to really build their wealth and et cetera, whatever. It's okay to take that Sunday off. It's okay to take that week away. It's okay to do that.
We implore you to do that.
Because what it actually is going to help you.
Yeah.
So it's something that I've had to come to the hard realization of doing. And like, dude, it came at Beyond. I was gassed out and I called my team that next day and I go, guys, I know this is really random and not like me. I will talk to you next week. And you know, at first they were a little questioned when one of them's like,
you good?
Have fun with your family.
There you go.
I was like, that's what I need right there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, and I get it. And, you know, because that's the thing too. I think for me, it's like, I have some big fucking people in my corner right now, and I feel like I'm accountable to them. So
yeah, that's true.
It's like part of me is like, oh, I can't afford to do this. But I told them that you actually need me to do this because if you want me to fire on all cylinders, I got to be able to tend to that side of my life.
They truly care about you. Yeah,
so
for sure.
no, it's important. And again, I think there's a lot of people out there that need to hear that. Because
I love that.
I think there's a lot. It's so fast right now. Everything's so fucking fast. And
dude, you gotta just disconnect and fucking read a goddamn book. And you know what's funny about your friend Schmitty?
Oh, there's a lot.
One of
funny about him.
DJ one of DJ Susan's best friends is a fireman as well.
Oh yeah.
And he's like very disconnected from the music scene, but always loves to show up. His
Yeah.
name's Shane. He's a great guy.
Okay.
Great guy, just class act.
You need those dudes.
And
too,
I
man.
don't have a fireman. Well, I do have a friend who's a fireman actually, but we all have like the fireman
Yeah.
or the firewoman.
Yeah.
That's just like doing something that really matters. Not to say
Yeah.
that like, you know, being a DJ and making music like doesn't change people's lives, but like there are people out there literally like saving
Yeah.
lives.
That shit matters.
And you have to sometimes just be like, when we come across all these people that are just absolutely egotistical maniacs with no friends,
Yeah.
right? Or use people, like we were talking about earlier. Like,
Yeah.
the firemen and the firewomen or the friends of those people know what's real and what's not.
hell yeah, they
and
know
that's
what's
how we
real.
maintain this sense of clarity and longevity and fulfillment
and
because,
transparency.
right? Because like, bro, you had an insane fucking year. Right, you've played to some massive crowds. Now it's Jake Shore's crowd, right? Like that was
Pretty
that was a big night at Prysm, bro.
It was,
that was
man.
awesome, man.
You see all
Like,
them fucking
there-
phones?
Yeah,
Dude, that was the first time I got that many phones.
there were so many like young people there too. Like I
Yeah.
was walking around,
Yeah, it
and
was
they were
cool.
there at like 11:30.
It was
you know what I
cool.
mean?
Yeah, it was crazy cool. And like the coolest part about it was I probably knew half of those people in the room at least. Mm-hmm. And if I didn't know them,
So cool.
it was because they had found me, which is also cool.
Yeah.
But that's what I was trying to tell people. Everybody I called,
Yeah,
a lot of these people I called, they ain't been to the club in a while.
yeah, like me.
But I was trying to tell them that like, but there's about to be 50 to 100 to 200 more just like you.
Yeah.
So that energy is going to be, it's not going to be your typical club night. And like,
Yeah.
dude, that's all I've ever wanted to create is a room where you don't feel like you can't just be.
Yeah.
Is a room where you
Feel
can
that
just go in
place.
there and vibe the fuck out and know that because you know me
Yeah.
in some way, shape, or form, you're going to meet like-minded individuals.
Mm-hmm.
And it does really come from having those friends because, yeah, whatever I do, whatever mistakes I make, because I will make them, we all do,
Yeah.
you know, hopefully they're not too detrimental. But I think having that authenticity and having that foundation is what's going to allow me to make those mistakes with grace and
Yeah.
allow me to
Love that.
to have that foundation hold me up and know who I really am. Because yeah, I don't use people. I don't cut corners.
Yep.
I didn't come from, you know, a really rich family situation. I worked for everything that I've really put into.
Yeah.
And I've also made mistakes.
Yeah.
I'm not perfect.
Right.
And I'll admit when I make those mistakes, but what I do, I keep it real. You know, I try and keep it as real as possible. And I think that's what people see across the screen. And that's what's worked for me so far.
Yeah.
And not to mention, there's a lot of people like that in the industry, though.
Yeah.
There really is. Like, I got the Hood Poly guys, obviously you and Sue, front fucking row at any show you guys can be at.
Of course.
And dude, like that really does, like, there's a true friendship there. It's not like, what I've been doing lately is I take the DJ away. If you weren't a DJ, would I fuck with you?
Yes.
That's
Love
what
that. Mm-hmm.
you need to do. Because there is a lot of like homie hopping and a lot of like climbing. And I'm not gonna lie, I've done it myself too.
Yeah.
But I do try and like also like, if you ask anybody, especially when it's like somebody that's further along from me, I do try and give it my best try to actually get to know that person.
Yeah.
And you can see it too. Like I have a really good group of friends now between like the Henry Fongs and the Wookiees, and like those guys are like
They're so real.
They're like my big brothers. Like
Yeah.
they have really like taken me under their wing. Jester too. Like all those guys. Like they've really taken me under their wing and like Wookie called me, FaceTime me today earlier. We got
Did he?
Yeah, we got some shit we're working on, and like he starts off by just telling me how much he loves everything I'm doing, and it's like, bro, like you're you. Like what you mean? Like I play all of your music like all the time. Like
Yeah.
and it's like, again, it's like real recognizes real. I need that. I need that camaraderie.
Yeah.
I need more than just like, and yeah, I mean, obviously it's cool that these guys are fucking with me, but like more than anything, like Henry Fong's a dad. Like Wookie's married.
Yeah.
Like they're real dudes outside
I
of
know.
this
I
shit.
love meeting people like that.
Yeah, man. And like,
Because we try to be normal, like we're talking about.
yeah,
here.
you have, and like, but it's, I think what it is it creates longevity, it creates transparency, trust, authenticity, and like,
Yeah.
again, this is not just with DJing. This is with any job you do.
Yep.
Like, people want to help people that are helping themselves, but people also want to help people that are like doing it right,
Yeah.
you know, and putting in the work. So I think it's so important for us to continue to like spread that message. And, you know, you got Sue who does it. That's all he does. He walks into a room
Daily.
and lights shit up, and like
He
it's
can't
so
even-
genuine.
He can't be anybody else. you
Yeah,
know, and he's just
you know?
able to do that.
And that is who we are. And I think, like I said, if you're doing shit, man, it'll crack. And that's the other thing too. if you're cutting corners and you're jumping over people and you're not doing it the right way, you best believe there's going to be somebody who's going to want to fuck your shit up, who's going to want to put you out.
Yep.
Because like there's going to always be jealous people if you're doing something dope, but if you're like a good person and like you're doing it the right way, most normal people ain't going to try and sabotage you.
True.
You know what I mean? And like even if somebody does, it ain't going to hold no weight.
Nah.
But if you are cutting people up and you're not doing shit by the book, man, and you know you're using people and you're not working for it, it don't matter. It's gonna come. It's gonna crack. It's going to. And I think honestly, that's the way it should be, bro.
Yeah.
You got to work for this shit. Like you really do.
What about the word authenticity for you these days? Because you know, I think a lot of people look at your social media and they're like, man, fucking Jake's got all these followers, all these comments, right? All this great music that's doing well. But I think what is different about you, like what we started with, like you are you. But while there is a Jake Polachek and there's a Jake Shore, you've somehow found the way to be you through your content, through your music. And how have you continued to like channel that consistency, knowing that not every post does well, not every song does well, things like that, right? Yeah,
I think that the biggest thing is sticking to your gut.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, being you. And I know it's like such a broad, like cliche thing to say, be you, be yourself. What does that mean? It means really start to take a look at like what things have motivated you, what things make you click, what things make you you, what built you. Like, you know, I do stem so much of my shit from WWE, but I don't think people realize like, and the people who have watched WWE like I have will understand this.
Oh, I understand it.
But I was raised on that.
Yeah.
I mean, it was Monday Night Raw,
Thursday
Night SmackDown,
yeah, of course.
Sunday Night Pay-Per-View if it was there. And my dad sat me down. He told me, he sat me down like even when I was in the womb, it was on. Okay? And no matter what you say about it,
it's entertainment.
It is the most successful running show ever.
Yeah.
It's been on live television for more than 30 plus years now.
Yeah.
And it's literally in everything that you, so like, that's one thing. And like, I picked that, right? And then like, I remember growing up on 90s jock jams, like CDs. And I remember, and like, so like those little tidbits and things that make me tick, I've tried to infuse in what I do, from what I wear to how I act to whatever. And this,
to make you feel something, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I also, dude, I've always been the guy who re-says and jokes from movies because I love movies so much, like Rush Hour, and
you do love Chris Tucker.
You know, but like, yeah, I do. But so I don't know, man. It's like that's what it means by being you, and like to me, it's so important. I think we get caught up as artists thinking that we have to impress other artists and impress other people in the industry. When in actuality, you need to make content that is actually going to hit the mass people. Because guess what? I'm sorry to say this, but most people don't give a fucking shit about how cool you are in the house industry or the EDM industry. You're trying to attract the general person.
Yep.
So how do you do that? Well, you have to do and put out and mix things into your content that is very generally understood. For example, me walking out of Zara down $200, but 12 new house songs in my playlist. Raise your hand if you've ever experienced that when you went to Zara. You heard a dope banger, and you're like, damn, this is sick. You stop shopping, and then you start shopping again, and then you walk out realizing you just spent a bunch of money.
Yes, bro.
Okay, well, that's why that post hit over 1 million views. And again, that's not perfect. I don't always do that. Like sometimes I get into these little slumps where I start feeling like, oh, I gotta put. Like I'll tell you right now, when I started touring a lot and I got signed to UTA and I got this record deal, etc. I kind of felt this pressure to start looking like the rest of these top dogs and like making. Which I think there's a balance. You do still need some industry style.
There are
things,
levels, yeah.
But I tried to do that too much. I also tried to do it all myself.
Yeah.
And so now it's like I started to delegate some of those things to other people and let the ego go. You edit it. You do it.
Yeah.
And I let the creation and like the what I enjoy doing, I leave that to me. And that's what it comes back to. It's like if I'm trying to do something for somebody else's appeal when it comes to social media, I find myself hating making it.
Yeah.
And I feel stupid making it. And guess what? I've also found that people can sense it through the screen. They can sense that it's not me.
Absolutely.
You know, I was starting to post so much like, and it's hard when you're in a club. It is dark. right? So, but I felt like a lot of my social media started to become like very like, it was dark. My social media that people have become accustomed to is like in the daytime, motivational, like walking the streets, like, and that's what I had to get back to. And
how do you wear these, by the way?
Yeah, that's why I usually give them to somebody in the crowd. So here you go, WWE influence. If you know anything about Bret the Hitman Hart, he used to walk down the aisle and he would take his glasses off and give them to a kid. And that fucking kid's day was made for the rest, or his year was made, life was made, right?
Yeah.
And I always thought that was so cool. I always wanted to be that kid. So now at my shows, I usually pick. I did it to you.
Yeah, I got picked.
I pick one person in the show.
Definitely made
and
my
I give them the glasses. They're fucking okay. Spoiler alert. They're $10 glasses from fucking Walmart or a gas station. Okay, but
they're pretty sick.
They're sick though.
Yeah.
And dude, it really does make. I did it in Minneapolis. I threw him out in the crowd, and some kid in the front row caught him. He wore him the whole fucking show.
That's awesome.
But again, it's like. It's not even just those social media now it's part of the show. Now, I've been walking out like Stone Cold with 2 security guards on my side.
Yeah, that was cool.
And that's the other thing too. I'm gonna give away some juice here. Like you said, the consistency part. We'll wrap it up on this.
Yeah.
I don't come up with every idea. Or they're not original ideas.
No, you shouldn't.
I'm sorry, but they're not. What I do is and I've said this before on many podcasts. I don't look at social media like a consumer. I'm sample hunting.
Yeah.
Like when you're on Splice as a producer and you're looking for samples or, that's a pretty good example, I guess. So I'm sample hunting, meaning I'm looking for ideas. And the best part about it, if an idea is good because it fucking went viral. So then I'm like, okay, how do I take this idea and make it work for me?
Yeah.
Either by completely like remixing it and making my own or just remaking it.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I'm going to be in the video.
Yep.
There's going to be a different purpose for it. Like, to be fair, that car accident video, I've seen honestly, there was like a Mexican restaurant that did that. And the dude's laying face down with like a styrofoam plate of food, like refried beans and fucking like, I think it was like quesadilla or something. He gets up, he's like, for just $9.99, you can, but it fucking was hilarious. So I did the same thing. And I love the people that'll comment and be like, oh, this is somebody else did this idea. Yeah. So what? So
dude,
what?
You've heard the saying, nothing is original, right?
No, it's a trend. That's what social media is now. It's trends. You know what I mean? It's like up your game too. You know what I mean? Better. Like the troubling thing is not troubling, but I think what people are, it's feeling more and more daunting now is like, look, when I started making social media and connecting it to my music, nobody knew what TikTok was yet.
Yeah.
Like
true.
I was like the last like generation before it was like a normal thing. Now every producer makes content.
Yeah.
Some should, some shouldn't.
Yeah.
But they do, and I applaud them for just trying. But because now everybody makes content with their music, you got to up your game.
Yep.
You got to do something different. And it's like, think of it this way too. It's like when you're scrolling, what is going to make that person stop scrolling? And you have 3 seconds to do it. So like seeing some guy saying, come on, and it looks like there's a car accident. Yeah, that's going to make not just the DJs stop, not just the house producers stop.
Yep.
It's going to make everybody stop because everybody in general is going to stop when they see a car accident.
Yeah.
It's called what's it called? The Gaper effect.
Yeah.
It's like a real thing in real life. Like when you see a car accident, like
you can't
stops traffic because you're looking at the car accident.
But how many fucking DJ Raw videos do we see?
Oh, if you see, imagine this at 3 a.m. in the club. Like, come on, man, do better.
First off, I don't want to imagine myself at 3 a.m. at the club.
I've seen it. I've seen you at 3 a.m. in the club. But no, I mean, I think it's changing, and it goes back to like you gotta adapt. But the nice thing is, I think something that I've really adapted to. I'm reading that book that I put you on.
Yeah.
Choose Your Enemies Wisely from Patrick
great.
Bet-David, and it talks about as a business owner, which we are. If you're doing your own project and you're doing your own entity, you are a business owner in some sense. And there's two sides to being a business owner. There's the side of, and there's there's two sides or two things that you have to encompass to be a successful business owner, which you have to have the logistical side and you have to have the emotional side.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't take any business classes at U of I. Probably should have. Greatest college in the world. But I know you're a Hoosier, so I had to say that.
U of I cracks me up.
Yeah. I bet. Hey, go Cams though. Anyways, so I didn't take any business classes. I had to learn all this shit on my own. But I've always had the emotional side. They won't teach you to be, for the longest time, they probably tell you, keep your emotions out of business. But you have to have an emotional side to business. And I would argue that I have all the emotion and passion in the world to run a business.
Yeah.
What I've struggled with is the logistical side, this building systems, organization, reading data, making data-driven decisions, etc. And that's something I've been encompassing more as I've had now additions to my team that are extremely good at that.
Yeah.
Which has been really nice too. But, that's the best thing about social media for anybody out there that's trying to figure it out. It is the most data, it's just so data centric. It's right there in real time.
Yep.
Did this post work? Why did it work?
Yeah.
Was it the hook? Was it the setting? Was it every little bit of both? Okay. And then once you figure out what works, you got to just rinse and repeat. And you don't have to do the exact same thing, but maybe you just change a variable. So maybe it's the same setting, but now it's for a different purpose. Maybe you're promoting a new song, but it's the same style video.
Yeah.
I think a lot of us too, and I've struggled with that too, is like, well, I don't want to just make the same video. That's going to get boring. But you have to understand from a consumer's edge, that familiarity is actually what we like.
That's what they're coming for.
It's like when you binge a season of a show.
Yeah.
The characters still stay the same. Mm-hmm. Majority of the settings still stays the same. Just something new happens every time.
Look at Friends.
Great example.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, even fast forward to like some of the biggest creators, like Ian Asher, he kills it.
Yeah.
Pretty much same style video that works for him every time, though, right? And like obviously as he grows, he's branching it out to other things because now he's got a great fan base, etc. So he can. Yeah. But the ones that still work the best for him is when he's sitting there, working his knobs and doing a remix.
Yeah.
So Wookie too. Wookie's got, he's in his studio and he rinses those. And I think in human nature we want to like try something new, but it's finding the balance because Wookie said that on the call earlier. He's like, yeah, I got my one thing, but you do a bunch of different shit, and like I do try and stay versatile with it, but I think it's finding that medium, like you're trying to find that series or that like thing that you can be known for, because
for sure
that's how the average person actually consumes stuff. Like they say, oh, you're that guy that does that thing.
Yes,
you got to give that to them though.
Absolutely.
If you're all over the fucking map, it's kind of hard.
So true, man.
Yeah. So,
dude, what's just real quick about Wookie? I talked to him and I said, as your biggest fan, and
I love him so much.
It's so good.
He's so good
to
at
see
everything.
every DJ's favorite DJ finally getting that attention from fans.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're seeing a big, like, I don't know what you think, but I feel like dance music, house music is in a weird place again because there's so many DJs, and I think that is a good thing. But it's also a bad thing because now there's so many fans that want to be DJs that now aren't contributing because they all just want to be the ones who are DJing with everybody on stage with them.
Oh, yeah.
The culture is the people.
Yeah.
Right? Like we talked about Chicago house music earlier, right? Chicago on top. Back in the day, the DJ wasn't the fucking center of attention.
Yeah.
They were in the corner. They weren't
Yeah.
seen. They created the energy.
Yeah.
It was the people.
You know what the line is?
What?
It's not about who's playing. It's about what's playing.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not saying that like you, I love to be the guy on stage. I love to be hyping people up. I love to be playing music they never heard before, giving them an experience they didn't even know they needed. Right? But it's still so important to me, like, that I remind people, like, hey, if you want to get into this, I need you to understand that you need to be a fan first.
Yes.
And I have to remind myself that all the time.
100%. Yeah, I think that's also intertwined now in my performance. And I'll be the first to say, like, I mean, there's a certain point where you get in your career where you are that guy that people are so, there's so much fan base behind it that they do want to stand and see you and pull out their phone.
They do.
And
that's a good thing.
I've experienced that a little bit, and it's fucking amazing. But I also will be the first to say that, like, a lot of times when people are in these rooms that I'm playing, there's a lot of people that don't know who I am. They know who I am afterwards. Then that's what I try and do.
There you go.
But to be fair, I'm trying to curate parties and shows. I don't care if you're standing and facing me. I really don't.
Yeah.
What I care about is that you're facing each other and you're dancing.
Yes.
There's one rule when I'm playing, and there's no standing on my dance floor. And in my sets, I've built in moments and things to curate that feeling. I had a friend who messaged me today, very similar message that you sent me. He's known me forever. He said, so fucking proud of you, man.
Yeah.
You really do make a show. Like, you curate a show. And I told him, I go, you like when I pointed you out, right? Because I told him once I saw him, it gave me life, because that does happen. But I point people out in my shows.
Yeah.
And I told him that I do that because it's not my show. It's our show. And I think that's what I take so much pride in doing that, because I think there is like this weird notion that we get put on this pedestal sometimes. And I think things like the 360 setups have kind of leveled that a little bit.
Yeah,
in
I
a
like
sense.
that for
I
sure.
do love that, because it kind of makes us feel not so like, annulled to the top or whatever.
Right.
And like, oh, I don't like that. I don't like that feeling either. And like, again, sometimes you can't control that, because there is a point in people's career where like they get so big that it like
You can't do small rooms.
Yeah, you can't do small rooms, and like that's awesome too. And like,
Yeah.
but I do want people to know, especially the people that are trying to get into this, that that is not necessarily why I'm doing this. Like I don't really want that. I do want to curate rooms and experiences and moments for people, and I want them to feel like they're a part of it as much as I just happen to be the main selector, what I mean? And I take pride in doing that, but
sure.
I think something else that needs to be said is like, we hit such a crazy boom with house music kind of becoming mainstream now. Like, and I know when I mean mainstream is like
eclipse in our careers.
Those are the acts that are being booked.
Yes.
When we were growing up, hip hop was being booked really for the most part. Now, there was a really big boom since COVID with the whole like tech house boom, right?
Yeah.
And so what happened, and I'm gonna lay it out. What happened is you had all these kids and young people that were exposed to this being, the young kids are exposed to this being the new thing. Like this is what are being played at colleges. This is what people are listening to. They also probably a lot of them recognize how much simpler it is now to pick it up and learn it.
Yeah.
And think about it. And it took me about 2 years to really start grasping production. So now we're 2 years into that. All those guys have just finally feel like they've learned how to make tech house. But guess what's happened?
Tech house is out.
Tech house it's changed.
It's changed. It's not out.
It's not out, but it's changed. It's evolved as it
God.
should.
Yeah.
And also, different styles of electronic dance music are now more prevalent than ever. We are in that state where drum and bass is fucking huge.
You dropped some.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. 90s Euro trance and Euro bounce is in right now.
Yeah.
Drop some of that too. The hard groove is in. Techno is fucking back in.
Yeah.
It is all, deep house is going to come back hard as fuck.
For sure.
Hopefully slap house never comes back. But it's Brazilian Afro house. I'm not trying to miss any here, but it's a beautiful time. And you can't get away with just playing an hour and a half 128 tech house set anymore. No. So I think let's talk about that. I surprised you. I don't think you've seen one of my most recent sets. I go from 128. Actually, I usually start at 130 now.
I was going to say, I saw 133.
I go 130,
I love it,
130 to 133 to 134. I think I went from 134 and I went up to a 171 drum and bass. I went back down to 140. I'm playing fucking techno. I'm playing Euro trance. I'm playing all sorts of stuff. It's still all blended into like some 90s infusion type shit with hip hop. It's still me. But dude, if you know me, I'm an open format DJ at heart.
I was gonna say
that's how I started in Chicago.
I don't know how else to play.
So what's happening, bringing it back to like what's happening now, is like all these young cats just learned how to make tech house and are sending me all these tech house remixes of fucking $1 Million Baby, and I'm like, bro, do something different. I don't want to hear the same tech house remix of $1 Million Baby. I'm not playing no fucking tech house like that. Like, it's They've just learned something and thought they got it, but it's already changed now. It's already changed.
Yep.
And the real ones will adapt or die, which we've talked about now in so many different parts of this conversation. You gotta adapt or die. And again, it goes back to, if it was easy, everybody would do it, man. But I've always had a good pulse on kind of what's coming next and what's happening. Yeah. And you can check it out in the UK. UK garage is huge. Drum and bass is huge. If you don't think I'm learning how to mix that and make it, you're fucking wrong.
Yep.
And that's the thing. It's like,
you're inspired by it.
I'm always gonna be house music, because house music is it's the base of everything dance. Yeah. House music is always gonna be there.
Absolutely.
But I look at like a guy like Diplo.
Mm-hmm.
He has adapted over and over and over and innovated and mixed genres and bended and didn't stick with the status quo. And that's why he is who he is.
It's amazing.
Which I had a great dinner with him
this
year. Yeah, I met some pretty cool people this year, man.
That's sick.
I had a sit down dinner with him in Vegas.
Wow.
It was like me and 3 other people.
What was it like?
It was honestly, and
You
this
fanboy? Tried not to.
I tried not to, but it was one of those moments where I was like, fuck. First of all, he was so cool. Wes is like, he is who he is because of how he acts. And he definitely, he commands the table because he is who he is.
He's fucking Diplo.
But man, he started telling me stories about Burning Man, and he started telling me he's so fucking funny. He's a real dude.
Yeah.
We started talking about teaching, and that's when it clicked for him. He's like, I know who you are now. I remember you were because he was a teacher too.
Was he?
Yeah, he taught in Philadelphia, I think. He taught in some of like the city schools there.
Oh,
It was a
I didn't know
teacher's
that.
aide or something like that. So
Yeah.
we connected on that, and then he invited us back to his suite, and then I was like, oh, this is in Vegas. And I was like, actually, I'm headlining tonight over at Disco Pussy. He was like, oh shit, okay, cool. Well, come on by after and catch the end of my show. I was like, so cool. Went back to his suite afterwards. Was fucking sick.
Yeah.
It's just Diplo being Diplo, and I'm like, when I left dinner, we got back to the hotel room, and it was during the NBA playoffs, and I turned on the NBA playoffs, and the first commercial is, do you recall that long ago we can dance? And I'm sitting there thinking like,
Damn.
holy fuck, Jake. In 2 years, you are sitting with fucking Diplo at dinner.
Yeah.
Like, those are one of those moments where I had to really be like,
I love that story.
yo, what have you done?
Yeah.
What have you
done?
What have you done, bro? So that was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
But yeah, man, I know we were talking about the sets and stuff. I think that just needs to be kind of said because, again, I want to give some help here to some of these young producers.
Absolutely.
I'm glad that you guys have learned to make music, but you also have to, and I'm not saying change yourself. Don't change and follow the trends.
Yeah.
But I think at the end of the day, as a DJ, you are there to give people an experience and to make sure that you are, and if you do play a whole tech house set at 128 for an hour and a half, you're going to bore the fuck out of people. I'm sorry, you are, because it's just not what people are consuming right now.
Unless you are like...
Yeah, I mean, you can get away with it if you're a huge name, I'm sure,
exactly.
because people are there
Martin
to see you
Ikin.
anyways. But
Right, yeah.
look at the huge names. John Summit is dropping drum and bass in every set. He's dropping techno. He's, and that's a beautiful thing, though. It's how it should be. You know what I mean? And like, I'm glad that things are coming back into play because, dude, there's a lot of idols that I looked up to that aren't getting booked anymore because that music isn't what's popping right now.
Yeah,
but
it's true.
I think it needs to all come back, and I hope it does. And I hope, again, if it was easy, everybody would do it. So you have to adapt and you got to change. And I think it's going to weed out a lot of people.
I think so too. And
which I think is good, though. It's good for the industry because you don't ever want anything to get too oversaturated.
No.
Then it's just like, again, it takes away from if it was easy, everybody could do it.
Yeah, well, and I think that's the thing. It has gotten oversaturated, and the bubble will burst.
Yeah,
right? And it's almost like when COVID happened, there were a lot of fake people, and then they just didn't really have the passion for it or the drive or the motivation to stick through it. And then that wave of people like us were like, yo, like that was fucking terrible, but like we're still here doing this because this is what matters to me. Right.
Yeah, but you gotta adapt. I mean, you gotta adapt. I've even adapted, to the point where like the shit that I was putting out content wise, music wise, but content specifically, like you just can't it goes back to, you just can't get away with just posting anymore. You got to adapt. You got to innovate. And like, look, again, the best thing is like, every day you have a fucking thing here that tells you what's happening and what's relevant and what's the new trend and what are people consuming. Right. It's all written right there for you. You have to get off your ass and go do it. Yep. And it's just one of those things where like, and I hate the people that say, oh, I hate that this is what music's about now. Well, it is.
It is.
So either you like it or you don't. And if you don't, then you're just going to die with it. Because there's a lot of homies that make really fucking good music, but they can't get on a fucking camera to save their life. And I'm sorry, but
that's the world we live in.
It just ain't it no more, man. And and like, it is what it is. And honestly, dude, me and my management talk about the content is almost more important than the fucking music right now.
I mean, not almost. It is. We've been talking about that for years. I think even with those people who, just to play devil's advocate, right? Like, yes, you used to be able to just make music and release a fucking successful mashup on SoundCloud, right? TikTok now, Goshfather?
Yeah.
Had a great conversation with him about this.
I like that guy.
He's a great guy.
He's so funny.
He's a guy who fucking said, "I'm gonna do it for me. I'm gonna have fun. I'm gonna laser focus in on this unique disco house." Right? we were talking about SoundCloud and how important SoundCloud has been to so many artists' careers, right? And we were talking about TikTok, and he was talking about Threads. And TikTok, while it has sort of cut out a lot of people for unfortunate and maybe fortunate reasons, right, is it's actually taken these young kids who maybe have never heard of SoundCloud to say, oh, shit, that BBL Drizzy edit, right? I want that full song. Well, you got to go to SoundCloud because that's the only place a song like that can live.
Right, yeah.
Right? So I think we're coming back around. I started off as a fan who wanted to listen to these full live sets. I couldn't work out unless I listened to a live set, right? So I think that that's going to start to happen again. That's why like Hood Politics, our edits are so special and unique because we don't just sign any fucking remix, bro.
No.
And that goes into like what we were talking about earlier. Like when I release an edit, like it is unapologetically Sherm. Like Frank Sinatra, love it. Frank Sinatra Chicago edit, Sherm edit.
So fire.
That's very much me.
You know who that is?
Who?
Did you hear that barking?
Yeah. Is that Walsh?
Of course it's Walsh. Fucking Walsh. You can't believe it.
All right, love that.
That's enough.
Stop barking, Walsh.
That's enough.
But I think like we're coming back to a special time.
Yeah, no, a lot of things are coming back.
But you got to be original and true and have fun with that content. Like, did you see the videos I did when I was in Indiana of the no hands edit? I was dunking.
Yeah,
lowered the hoop to 7.5 feet.
Watched every second of it.
Right, and like I had so much fun with that.
That's all that matters, man. People will pick that up too. I mean, look, I think we get caught up on what the numbers look like too. I know I do sometimes, and
I definitely do.
You just gotta the niche is you, man.
Yep.
You are the only person like you. And I think that's something that I realized with teaching. For a little bit, I felt kind of weird, like keep bringing up the fact that I was a teacher because like it's like 2 years now that
it wasn't that long ago, bro.
I know it's not that long ago. So, but that's what I mean. And like now that I have some people in my corner that are like, no, dude, that's your story.
Yeah.
That is what's literally, there is nobody else like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, so I've been like trying like once a week, specifically at shows with the Take Control song. I do like the stomp transition and it's like POV. You went from teaching third graders.
It was so cool to see you actually do that. I never knew how you fucking do it. I was
like, what is he doing?
I was like, God, he thinks about so many things while he's fucking doing. I was
while I'm DJing.
Because I usually am like, oh shit, I forgot to take videos and stuff.
Yeah.
You got 16 cameras there. You're taking videos
you
on
got
your
it,
own.
Man. You got to have the content.
I think it's sick.
It is important to have.
It's inspiring.
Because, and then like, that's what I mean, right? So like, yes, you still got to have like the carousel post with the 3 different angles and like, but to do something different and interactive like that / also have that hook is powerful because it gives you a full on snapshot of who I am in one post. And again, it's very different. Obviously the style of it, that transition is like very like catchy and like makes people watch anyways. But that hook about being a teacher and now doing the biggest clubs in the world, you just don't read that every day. You know what I mean? So it's like that, and it works. And so going back to, like I said, it's a blend of trying different things, but if something works, you got to keep rinsing it.
It's true. And it's an inspiring story too, Jake. Like, do you ever, you talked about your old content. Do you ever go back and like watch your old content?
You know what's funny? And I still need to do this, damn it. But a couple of weeks back, like I was telling you earlier, I was really homesick. Yeah. I came home, had a bit of a breakdown.
Yeah.
Bunch of different things personally, but all good. I really needed to be home.
Yeah.
And have that moment, which is what home's for, right?
Yeah.
My cousin told me, he's like, you should go do some shrooms, go out to the middle of a field and go back and watch every one of your fucking reels. And I was like, and then I had a podcast with a guy out of New Jersey named Red. You'd love him. He's a good guy. He does his podcast. Great dude.
Yeah.
And he said in preparation for our podcast, that's what he did. He went back through my whole thing and watched the evolution of it.
Cool.
I still haven't done it, but I think both of them were signaling to me to do it because of the appreciation that I will get from it and just the introspective, like, dude, holy fuck, you've put a lot of time and work and effort into this, and like you've continuously adapted but stayed consistent, stayed true to yourself.
Yeah.
And I think I know all that, but I definitely should take some time to go back and do that.
You have to.
Because I mean, outside the appreciation part, I think, again, that's the emotional side of it. But logistically, when I consult with different artists, it's about, let's look at your year you had. What are your top 5 performing posts? And how can we take those and re-rinse them and utilize them? Because something about them worked. So something about them will work again. And that's the logistical, statistical, and analytical side of it that I have kind of ignored for a while. But it works. You got to have both ends of it. You know what I mean? So
you do. And first off, thanks for getting vulnerable about that stuff. Because, you know, this year is my 5th time playing North Coast. And I was thinking back.
That's crazy.
I know, right? They were like, here's your set time. Well, I knew my set time, but like when you finally see it, like the set time's on a flyer.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, fuck. I'm really playing 5:10 to 6:10 p.m. and like, you know, fuck. Let me give myself some roses, bro. And
bro, that's huge.
Other than you, I don't know any other, you know, for lack of a better example, Chicago local. Like we've all played some Chicago festivals, but the Saturday main stage 5 p.m. set time is like, I'm like, holy fuck, I'm actually doing this. Like, stop moving so fast. Exactly.
Yeah, that's gonna be fucking great.
I was like, oh, I'm gonna go back and
right?
yeah, Labor Day.
Okay.
I see you're playing in Atlantic City the night before. You should come back to Chicago the next day.
I should.
You really should.
Somebody asked me today.
Everybody's in town.
Yeah, somebody asked me today about if I'm gonna be in town.
You should. Anyway,
I might have to now. I owe you one. So
I do. I went back to like when I played the Silent Disco in like 2018. This was in the back at Union Park where Arc is now. If people don't know that, by the way, Arc now is where North Coast used to be.
Oh.
Right? So I remember when I got reached out to play the Silent Disco. Bro, it was like a Friday or something. I didn't think it was real until I saw it. And then I remember they put it out there. And it's a massive... The Silent Disco lineup, you know, no knocking the Silent Disco, but like they stack that shit,
Moment
right?
of silence for the Silent Disco.
Straight up. And I love a Silent Disco, honestly. Yeah. I left work and I bawled my eyes out. And I call my mom, I call my dad. Like, you ever have those feelings, and I'm sure people do, where like you have a moment, you just got engaged, you just got married, you just had your kid, like whatever significant moment that you've worked towards and you're at a point in life where you're equipped and ready for it, and you just let it all out. Like, I'm getting emotional thinking about this moment again. And I had, for a long time, had a chip on my shoulder to get to these points because I used to be in a duo, actually, and this guy was like very, very manipulative. He said that I would never make it. Yeah, he said I would never make it. He said that I was fake. He said that I didn't get it, all this shit. And
where's he now?
I don't fucking know.
Exactly.
Right? And in a good and bad way, I thought, yo, I fucking did it. I proved that guy wrong. And I was like, that's not why I'm excited. I'm excited because I actually work towards something that fulfills me.
Yeah.
So I dropped that egotistical shit, right?
Yeah.
And I'm looking through all the photos of 2021 where I played at 3:30. I'm looking through the photos in 2022 when I played 2 to 3:30, and then I did Silent Disco. And then last year I played the Vegas stage from 4:30 to 5:30. And I'm looking and I'm going, what's this year gonna look like? Because it keeps getting bigger.
Yeah.
And I want to keep appreciating those moments and think about what worked and what feelings.
Yeah.
And when I'm in the studio now too, I started thinking about when I first got like FL fucking Studio, bro, and I had Massive, and I got the little MIDI controller, right, like a machine.
Yeah.
And you plug in your first preset, and it's like
funny,
Hardwell Big Room, and you're like, and you're like,
sick.
That's it.
Yeah.
This is how it's done,
how it's
right?
done,
So like, how can I channel that Silent Disco energy when I first got booked and cried? How can I channel that original raw energy when I played my first synthesizer?
Yeah.
Right? And I've realized that it's hard to replicate that, but if you chase that feeling, that's when things are going to start to click, and you'll feel fulfillment, and you'll feel collaboration and friendship and love.
Yeah,
and
man.
that stuff resonates with fans.
That's what the Chicago show was for me this past.
That's great.
I think a lot of people don't realize that this was a taste maker show for me. Where I'm at my career right now.
You were calling motherfuckers. He was calling people, inviting them.
Pick up the phone,
like it's goddamn
baby.
middle school Jeremiah days.
Pick up the phone, baby. I know you're home, baby. Bro, I've called so many fucking people.
How many people did you actually call?
I think I called upwards to 100, 150 people.
You just started going through your phone.
Yeah, literally. Started going through my motherfucking phone. And then I left a lot of voice memos. So I think between the voice memos and calls, maybe like 150. But
that's
dude,
a lot.
That's a lot. That's a lot of my time. And like I said, the people.
That's a fuck ton.
Yeah, the people. It was just a resounding, good vibe, good reception, and I think more importantly, it was a chance for me to check in with people, even if they couldn't come to the show.
Yeah, because posting a flyer just doesn't do it anymore.
Yeah. No, thank you. What'd you say?
Posting a flyer just doesn't do it anymore.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, and let's go into because promoters.
What the
and
fuck are they
bookers-
doing?
Yo, it's crazy. Like, just to bring up DJ Sue one more time, right? Like, he had his Prysm at Bloom in San Diego, right? Like, they were like, yo, we're not selling any tickets. Like, the show's not going to do well. And Sue's like, shut the fuck up. Like, and it sold out. Walk-ups, last-minute tickets. That's how people operate. And guess what? Because he wasn't posting a flyer. He was telling people, yo, pull up to the pregame. We're going to roll through. Yo, meet me at the show, right? That's what you fucking did.
Dude.
Place was packed.
What? I'm being dead ass serious. What the fuck do promoters do these days?
I don't know. They post a flyer.
Let me start by this.
Yeah.
There are some good fucking promoters out there.
Definitely.
I'll drop them names right now. I was in the fucking office. I was in Big Night Entertainment.
Yeah,
they
they're
know
good.
how to fucking promote.
They are.
But they also are smart enough, and they know that they have to adapt.
Yeah.
The post-COVID era of clubs and bottle service, it ain't it no more. I'm gonna repeat that. The bottle service days are dying. If not, they're dead.
And we get that that's how a lot of clubs and venues make their money, but they have to innovate.
You have to adapt. Look, because one, the economy ain't there to buy fucking $4,000 bottles, and the people that are willing to spend $4,000 on a bottle in a random city, they probably ain't the people you want. And realistically, not saying everybody. Again, I'm just hear me out, but you have to adapt, and you have to change, and you have to, and like Big Night, for example, like they got like an RSVP, like a what's the word I'm thinking, ambassador program that they're doing.
Yeah.
Where they're getting people involved. These Gen Z kids, they don't think that shit's cool to sit at a table and drink bottles.
It makes me think, was it cool?
I never thought it was cool.
I wasn't sure.
But they definitely don't think it's cool now. You know what they want? They want an experience.
Yeah.
They want to feel like they're going to something that's exclusive, something that has some production to it.
Yeah.
They want to feel like they're going to something that you can't get anywhere else. And that's what these kids want now.
Yeah.
And that's not what these places are formatted for anymore.
Yeah.
So, obviously there's like the structural problem, but going back to the promoters, bro, I get taxed. I'm not going to lie. I've had some dud shows. Okay.
Of course.
And I'm also not going to lie. My name right now, I'm not Dom Dalla. I'm not bringing in thousands of people into a club. But unfortunately, I think these promoters, a lot of them are banking on the DJ's name to bring everybody now. Okay. And the fact of the matter is, you guys have more of a pulse on your local scene than we do. You can't tell me you can't bring one fucking table in. You can't bring one table in.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. I did a set. I'm not gonna drop the name, but I did a set a couple weeks ago. Dance floor had people on it. Mm-hmm. Not a single table was booked.
Yeah.
I got tagged about 5 times from 5 different promoters. Come through. Come through tonight. Don't miss out. Big one.
Why does that sound like a
the worst flyer too? They like crop it all fucked up. They don't even know what they're doing. Hey, yo, come through. Oh, we got come, dude. What? Nobody came through. And look, I take responsibility. It is just as much my responsibility to promote my goddamn show.
Yeah.
And do as much as I can. But hey, bro, I'm out here laying in the goddamn street in Chicago, faking getting hit by cars, getting 2 million views on a promotional post.
Yeah.
I'm out here. And I'm not saying it's all on the promoters. What I'm trying to say is me and my team work diligently to reach out to the venues and the promoting teams, third-party promoters.
Yeah.
What do you guys need us to do? How can we help? How can we work together?
Absolutely.
Because at the end of the day, it's going to be a win-win for everybody.
Yeah.
If we can work together, even if it's ad spend.
You're trying to make money.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you shouldn't be relying on the DJ to bring all your people. You should be relying on the service you provide, the experience you provide, the deals you provide.
Yep.
And those are the things take the DJ away. Mm-hmm. Because I know when I was coming up and I was out about 2016 through 2020 before COVID, dude, there were promoter wars. There was people that were 3-4 promoters companies in a place at a night and everybody was jockeying for position.
True.
And at the end of the day, it breeded competition and it wasn't about what DJ was in there. And I know that the culture has shifted, but again, you gotta adapt. You gotta make moves. You gotta change. And all I'm asking is not. I'm not saying it's all on the promoters or it's all on the venue. I'm saying let's work together.
Yep.
Let's figure it out and let's work together. So, and even if you are a massive DJ that brings dope big names and whatever, I still think like there still needs to be some responsibility and accountability on the venue.
Yeah, absolutely.
To do something more. You know what I mean? And like, again, at the end of the day, it's a win-win.
So true.
It's a win-win because I'll be honest with you, like, I'll go to these places, and again, I have my responsibility to bring people in, and I want my name to bring people in.
Of
you don't think I
course.
don't, like, you know what I'm saying? But
If you're playing in new markets, you're growing.
But if I don't have that feeling like this is a team effort, and then the show looks like that, yeah, bro, I ain't gonna post no content.
Yeah.
And I know what people, they also book me for, because they know I know how to make a fucking place look like it's juking.
Right.
But I can't post content if it ain't fucking dope.
That's also the double-edged sword of, the vanity of social media.
Yeah,
right?
of course.
Yes, you have an awesome social media following. That doesn't directly translate to ticket sales.
It doesn't. It doesn't at all.
It just doesn't.
It doesn't. And I think, unfortunately, a lot of people think that.
Right. Oh, Jake, he made a TikTok post. That means like at least 250.
Yeah, I got 2 million views on a post.
Right.
About, it doesn't mean 2 million people are coming to the show.
Maybe, I mean, you probably converted for sure, which is
I
amazing.
converted, and well, you can do things to convert and data collect, in which we do,
Yeah.
and et cetera. But I don't know, man. I don't
That's
ever.
why people are haters, though.
I don't
isn't
like to
it?
speak this out loud, because I know there's gonna be somebody watching this who's like, oh, fuck that kid. But I think if there's any promoters that are watching this and feel that way, it's because they're the people that aren't doing nothing.
Yeah.
There are promotional companies and third-party promoters and venues that fucking crush it.
Yeah.
And they crush it no matter who's in the room.
Yeah.
But anybody who's going to be salty about what I just said, it's because they know it's the truth and they know they ain't doing nothing. Simple as that.
Yeah, it's
just
true.
like you just said, though, vice versa.
Yeah.
Just because a DJ just popped off on TikTok, that doesn't mean they know how to DJ. That doesn't know they know how to read a room. And that doesn't mean they're going to bring a bunch of people. So do some motherfucking research and ask around. Because you can't also just expect, because he has 100,000 followers, that he's going to bring a ton of people, so I don't got to do no work. That's shame on you, man.
Yeah, bro.
And again, I'm not sitting here saying that there's some cities I bring a lot of people.
Yeah.
But there's some cities I don't. So I need you as the promoter. Let's work together and figure. Because that's the thing with me, too. I think you should know, as a promoter or as a venue, you got somebody in me who's going to go lay in the street and do some type of skit and make this shit pop.
Right. Like, let me know what might work.
Exactly. It's not about, hey, what are you doing? It's what can we do together?
Yeah.
And that's the message. I'll leave it off on that, because
What can we do together?
Yeah, I don't usually get heated about this shit, but I just feel like somebody's got to say it. Because I'm sick of it being put on us, the whole thing now. It's kind of ridiculous.
I talked about it with strategy. Like,
yeah. I mean, and he knows too.
Yeah, right. Like, and I think it's unique for us, and maybe any other DJs that have played in big cities, but like, bro, like, we're in Chicago, man. Like, there's big clubs here.
Yeah.
That like sell bottles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Have famous people come.
Yeah, and bottle service can still work.
And there's a time and a place.
And there's time and a place, but
right?
the majority of these young kids, man, they just don't care like that.
Well, and those big
they don't
acts,
have the money.
like Tiesto, for example, who I saw you met, by the way. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, I hung out with Tiesto for a good 2 hours at a festival in his like fucking sick ass green room at the Arizona Raceway.
He doesn't drink either, right?
He had some wine. He doesn't drink Jägermeister like he's been notorious for. He was just sipping wine, fine as hell,
chilling, hanging,
nicest guy in the world. It was, listen to this room: me, Tiesto, Shipwreck, and Nostalgics.
Jesus,
hanging out. What a sweetheart she is, by the way.
Yeah.
And then the Shipwreck boys are fucking dope. Super nice guys.
I love those guys.
And the cool thing is like the respect, like doesn't matter who you are. And like Tiesto too, like didn't matter who was in the room, went around, talked to everybody.
He's a class act.
You want to talk about somebody I want to be like? That's who I want to be like, as far as like keeping it level, no matter how big you are. It was just it was cool, man.
Which is an art in and of itself.
Yeah, it really is. And that's something I've been, like I said earlier, like honestly, I feel awkward as fuck when like fans come up to me and fan me out. It doesn't happen crazy often, but when it does, it's almost a little awkward for me because what I've learned is to fan them out back. And it's so funny.
Yeah.
I'll be like, what you mean, bro? How are you, dog?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, why are you being so like, what do you mean? Like, this is who I really am. Like,
yeah.
I'm excited that you're excited, but I think like leveling that out and like making them feel like you're just a normal person is like how it should be anyways.
Yeah.
Dude, a lot of people I've met have been like that. Like I said, I've met some pretty, like Fisher, same way. He was the same way. He was just exactly who I thought he was going to be. He was super cool.
You probably met some people who you thought they were going to be like something and they weren't, though, too, right?
Not too many.
Really?
Not too many, but I think that's also owed to who I am, though, too. You know what I mean? Like, I think people
you can see through that
people
shit.
know what they're gonna get when they meet me. So I think it just depends. I think, and I get it though now too. Like I get it. It does put people sometimes on edge a little bit when you're just like you're talking to them, or not at, or talking at them, not to them necessarily. Yeah. So it's interesting for sure. But
do you feel this next level coming then for you with your music, with your shows, like?
Yeah, man.
Because we're just over halfway through the year, and I was looking through some of your old posts, and I was like, God damn, Jake has been on a fucking tear.
Yeah, man. I think we've talked about it as a team. I'm very happy with the pace of everything. I actually don't. I'm never wishing for it. I don't think anybody's ever like knowing when it happens or what it even is. But the amount of work I'm putting in and the story that I'm trying to tell and the music that I have lined up. Because realistically, man, I haven't really put out any of my real original music until just recently. Like nights like these. Yeah. Juke That's coming out with Rocky Fresh.
That's all over, by the way. I'm sure you know that.
What?
Nights Like These.
Oh, yeah.
It's like all over, bro.
That's awesome. I saw a lot of people like low-key kind of like start to cheer and pull out their phones when Nights Like These played, which is cool.
Who was that fucking tall-ass Asian guy, by the way?
Big Dong.
I was like...
That's his name, Dong.
I was like, did you... I was like...
I just met him that night.
Loved him.
He was cool. He's one of those dudes that does content in like places you're not supposed to go. So like, he reached out to me and I looked at his post. His last one was like, "I'm at the Barrio right now in Colombia. Let's check it out." And there's like dudes with like cartel, like you can't film here. I'm like, what is this guy doing? Like, and he hits me up. He's like, "I want to do a video series with you, and like I love your story." And I'm like, "Yeah, let's pose it as like you're in the house music capital of the world, hanging out with the one and only whatever. Let's take him to a night." And he came through and did it, and we had a good time. He's cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, he was cool. But
sorry to interrupt.
No, it's all good. But well, back to like, yeah, man, the music I got coming out and the team I have behind me. I think that's been the reason why I haven't really flushed out a lot of my original music, because I think it's so precious and I think it's so me, and it's kind of like I'm pushing a sound that I feel like I don't want to say is like completely new. But I feel like it's different. I feel like it's so Chicago. It's a great mixture of 90s house, juke music, and hip hop.
Hell yeah.
With dance, all raveled into like me. And I feel like, I was telling you earlier, like I'm not really trying to fit any of the molds that are already there. I'm not trying to impress the house music goers necessarily. I'd love to have them be fans and have their respect, of course. Yeah. I'm trying to convert people that didn't even know they like house music, because then I'm your first impression of what dance music is. So you put some hip hop on there. It's like all the hip hop people now like, oh shit, I've seen the comments too. I can get into house music with this, or like people say like sounds like a new genre, like the Juke That track. Like
it does.
It's and it feels really good to see people like say that, like you guys are doing the Chicago shit right. And plus I'm getting like, we got that sample. The sample we used in that was from a DJ Rashad track, which is a legendary Chicago juke.
Really?
And we got it cleared.
Oh, shit.
The people that I have in my corner now definitely have some moves. Yeah. They can make a lot of moves. And they, the funny thing is the record label that picked me up, Third Brain, and put you on, Steve Cardigan, Jake Udell, the Udell brother, they're from Chicago.
One of them went to IU.
Everything I'm doing, man, is fucking
awesome.
And like that's how it's supposed to be. And like they're just such big fans of me and my music, and understand that like there's such a big picture here, and like to really formulate a movement and like have those. Literally, I feel like I do have a second and third brain now with those guys, which is crazy.
That's awesome.
But yeah, we got that signed off. And it's also cool, like you kind of talked about earlier, like the remix game and like SoundCloud and just like remixing songs now is coming back to the point where like the actual artist will now be able to hit up that artist. So like I posted the "I'm a hoe, she's a hoe, I posted that remix, and DJ Sluggo hit me up and he's like, "Yo, this is sick. Can you make sure you have my name on this when you post it?" And I was like, dude, honestly, I didn't even think you were going to see this shit. Like, of course.
Yeah.
So immediately, like we then made it to a collab post so all his people could see it, got a good response. And then I was like, dude, you want to like make this official?
Yep.
And he said he's down. So we're working on some shit like that, but it's like, that's
awesome.
Dude, to have those people that have done it before me in Chicago specifically kind of give me that tip of the cap, and then have like somebody like Jeremiah pull up to the set. It's becoming undeniable.
Yeah.
Okay. And so that for me, like I said, if you can fix Chicago, you can fix the world. And if
love
you can
that.
show people the music through Chicago that we've grown up on, and like, man, I just feel like it's coming, bro.
Love it.
I can't fucking wait. I can't wait. And I don't necessarily know what it is, but I think for me personally, it's making sure that I'm financially set up to the point where I can give back to my family and give back to my community. But also, yeah, man, I want to make an impact on the world with my music and change people's lives and give them something to look forward to and to be a part of. But I think it's always going to end up being more than the music for me, man. I think the music is just a stepping stone. I've had a lot of people reach out recently because of the promos and because of the acting that I've had to do.
Yeah,
that
you
are like, you need to think about doing some other shit too. And I think that's what it's going to lead to, you know?
Yeah, that's cool.
Man, if I could have my own show someday or be in commercials or be on the sideline and at a fucking Bears game or something.
How long till you throw the first pitch at a Cubs game?
It's going to be all strikes, bro.
For sure.
I don't know. I mean,
Think about shit like that?
sooner than late. Yeah, I mean, I do. And that, you know what? That's funny too. Cause like, as we wrap up here, I think something that I got hit with this year, it all started like, it always starts with a vision, and then you plan, and then you have to execute, and then the fourth section of that people forget is you got to revise the vision.
Yeah,
and that's something that I had to, like a tough pill I had to swallow, because I think the vision I had for myself 2.5-3 years ago, I've accomplished, and crushed. And so what I had to really come to terms with this year is, what is that new vision? And I think I knew I had to do that, but the new vision, and this is going to sound crazy to some people watching this, and I mentioned this before on podcasts and stuff, but my new vision, I think why it took me so long to really like etch that out is because the new vision includes things that I think I never thought was possible. Wow. Like first pitch at the Cubs game. My Grammy speech.
Yeah.
Like,
why not?
I know it sounds wild as fuck, but it also sounded wild as fuck 3 years ago when I said I was going to travel the country and play music in front of people that want to be there for my music.
Yeah.
I just did that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and to bring it back to anybody watching this, that is where it starts. You got to think fucking wild, man. Because if you're thinking small, that's what you're going to get is small.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, man, I envision dropping in on my Lollapalooza set on a helicopter. I envision big motherfucking houses, private planes, put my family in a big ass party bus with me on the side, decaled out, laid out like George Kittle. Yeah, bro, that's what I do. I do envision that, and I'm not afraid to say it.
About
you know what?
You shouldn't.
If it doesn't happen, it will. If it doesn't come out to that, it's gonna come out to some part of that. That's what having a vision is.
Yeah.
You reach for the stars, and if you only make it a little bit out the stratosphere, then at least you got somewhere, though. You know what I mean? So it's like,
I love that,
man. I think that's. It is really about that belief system and like speaking it into existence. We talk about that so much too.
Can I speak a few into existence?
Sure, go ahead.
I want to be on Hot Ones.
Yes, yeah. You would do good on Hot Ones.
I would.
Yeah.
Sean Evans was at Soho recently, and he went into the steam room, and I was like, I can't follow him into the steam room right now. I want to be on
crazy.
Hot Ones.
You will.
I will, for sure. I want to DJ an NBA All-Star after party.
You will.
And sit courtside, and that can be my compensation.
You will.
I know I will. I'm manifesting.
I'm just going to keep saying you will.
Like, some people are like, oh, man, is Lolly your biggest goal? And I'm like, that's way too small. Obviously, yes, of course. But, like, I'm trying to get to, like, what it... I do like to think of specific things, because when I think of specific things, I can actually get to I can get a path.
I want to get married and have kids.
Yeah. See, that's a goal of mine as well.
Yeah, I want to make a few remixes of Jake Shore. Little remixes. Little remixes.
Little Jake Shore.
My daughter.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it right now. My daughter will be the biggest superstar in the world.
I could see that.
Yeah, she's gonna be bigger and better than me. Trust me.
I could see that.
She'll have Kimberly's fucking curly ass hair, but she will be all fucking me. I torment Kimberly with that all the time. Just wait. You think I'm annoying?
Yeah.
Babe, watch this. Babe, look at this.
Yeah.
Just wait. She's gonna be on top of your fucking head.
We're gonna be daddy's girls for sure.
Oh, for sure. My karma, I'm having 3 girls.
Exactly.
I hope for a boy, but I already know. It's funny. I was watching Receiver on Netflix.
Yeah.
Fucking great.
Is it?
Dude, did you see Quarterback?
Of course.
Well, I was a receiver, so I love watching it. And Devontae Adams, first thing he talks about, he's got 2 daughters.
Yeah.
He's like, it was so good for me though, because we have such an aggressive lifestyle, and having those 2 daughters softens me up, and it was so
That's
good.
great.
If I had a boy, I would have just immediately put a football in his hands and expected so much from him. So I think it's good for us. I think for guys like us too, it's good to have that piece that kind of humbles and softens us. So I'm for sure though gonna have fucking daughters.
I like that you think like that though, bro.
Again, it goes back to take the
beginning.
DJ away. Are we
Do I
people
still
that we
fuck
want to
with you?
sit down with and type shit?
Because life feels short, but in reality, if you live every day to its fullest, the days are long,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And also, dude, I mean, it matters to us, but this shit really doesn't matter, man. What matters is your family. What matters is your happiness. And what matters is your health.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, that's what really matters. What we're doing is cool. It's awesome. And it fulfills us. But
Bro,
it's really a small blip on the radar.
the second that any of those things gets taken away from you, you realize that all that other shit does not
about.
matter.
I will say, and I don't know if we're probably wrapping up here, right?
Yeah.
I do want to leave on this. I hope in some way, shape, or form. I mean, I know you did because I could just tell. Having you at my show the other day, we talked about how that puts me at ease and that it does mean so much. But I think for the first time, I realized how much. I don't want to get choked up about this. I realized how much you being around my dad meant for you.
Oh.
Because I could tell you haven't gotten that in a while, and I just know my dad to me is exactly how your dad is to you, and I just hope in some way, shape, or form you did feel that way, and I hope you got that from my dad, and that's who our dads are, man. So I hope that's what that experience was. I feel like you
Vince
fucking
is the man.
Yeah, you wilded it out with him, and he loved it. Obviously, he's like, oh man, we're fucking. Because he always has so many questions about my friends. Like, what's Sherm doing? I was like, dude, you can ask him when we get there. And then I know he went through everything with you and told you about the karaoke days and shit. And
Oh yeah,
dude, I hope that I mean, I can tell you did. I can tell you needed that, and I hope you did have some kind of vicarious moment in some way, shape, or form. I know he loved experiencing that with you, but my daddy is exactly who your daddy was to you, and still is to you, and they're our number one fans, man. And so I think that's something that we share in common, and I think I hope it brought you some happiness and some peace and whatever that it did. So man.
On that note, honestly, bro, like anyone listening, pay attention to those people and what they see in you and listen to them. Like my mom actually gave me the greatest piece of live DJ advice. She came to see me play in college. She's like, Matt, like you play such great music, like you're so good with people, but like you didn't look up once. She's like, why aren't you looking at the people that are there to see you? Like they want to see you. They want to see your smile. That's why people love you. And I was like, God, you're right, Mom. Like it's not even that I was like nervous. I just thought I had to be cool.
Yeah, fuck that.
And and like my dad would always say, like he listened to every episode of the podcast. He would send me grades. And he would say,
I love that.
This episode was good for this reason. You could have done better at this point. Like, why were you going down this topic that clearly you didn't care about? Like, your fans don't like that. And
That's
I was
great.
Like, it's your parents, right? So sometimes it's like everything with a grain of salt. But those are the people who know you best.
Yeah.
So when your husband, when your wife, when your partner, whoever it is, your mom, your dad, your brother, and this is a theory that I have. I don't have anything against people who are only children.
Yeah.
But your siblings, is he?
He's my brother.
There we go.
He's my brother.
Your siblings tell you like it fucking is.
Oh,
Yo,
yeah.
you look like shit today.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That sucked.
For sure.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Like, my brother and I have a funny relationship, but like it takes, I don't want to say it takes a lot to impress him.
Yeah.
But when he actually like goes, yo, like, that's dope.
That's how my brother is too.
You know what I mean?
My brother straight up told me, he's like, you're the last Prysm, because I showed him a few like of the songs I was going to play, and I showed him how I was going into DMB. He's like a big bass head. Like,
yeah.
He was like, honestly, bro, I didn't want to tell you, but yeah, your last Prysm set was boring as fuck. He's like, I like honestly, I got bored as shit. It was like, it just felt like the same song over and over again, which again, general consumer, like a lot of people think house music like can be like that.
Yeah.
So he was so happy that I like switched it up.
When
hardcore.
you did it at the perfect time.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Like maybe one more banger like that, and people would have not started to lose interest.
Right, but no, you do. You got to switch it up. So no, I love that. Siblings do.
listen
Same with
to
Walsh
these
too.
people.
Walsh hears so much of my shit. He gets so much of what's new and I know it. he'll tell me straight up, like if something was off or something. And hearing that from him and you, that like he breaks it down too. He was like, dude, honestly, that was the best that I've seen from you.
Yeah.
The energy, the song selection, the flexibility, all that shit was on point. And like, he doesn't say that lightly. And you need those people in your corner. I think that's kind of what you're getting at.
Yeah, I am.
You can't have just yes men in your corner.
No, because a lot of people do just say everything's great. Everything's great.
Yeah.
I mean, my wife is one of my harshest critics in the best way. Like, I make her listen to the music, and she goes, honestly, it's kind of boring. Like, why does it take so long to get to this part? And I'm like, fuck, you're right.
I know. And again, they're the best test maker. What's the word I'm looking for? They're the best temperature checks.
Yeah.
Because again, I'm going to say it again, as you're a producer or an entertainer, it's not about impressing the people who know what hi-hats are. It's about impressing the people who are just your everyday music consumers. And to be honest with you, most music consumers, all they hear is lyrics and what goes around it. Lyrics first. It's got to have words. They got to connect to the words because that is the language most people are speaking. They don't care about the other shit. You know, like nights like these, Kimberly's, one of the first thing she said was, wow, this just sounds like a real song. And I know what she meant. She meant like a song that she can actually hear on the radio or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it was like the biggest compliment.
Could be someone's first dance song.
Yeah, type shit. You know what I mean?
Music.
So, no, you got to have those people. And like, I think, we can end on that, right, man?
Yeah.
Family is everything. Having those friends in your corner and being yourself and being real is always going to be on top. It's always going to be king. You know what I mean? And I think, that's what we try and walk and live every day of our lives. That's why we're going to do what we got to do.
Unbelievable,
right?
Jake Shore. Hey, what's up? And thanks for watching that video. You looking for more content now? I got your back. Go to my YouTube channel right now, hit that subscribe button, and make sure you turn on all notifications so you never miss any upcoming exclusive artist interviews, Sherman the Booth clips, new music, live sets, and more. This is your one-stop shop for everything electronic music. Cheers.